So here's how it's going down. Netflix has made its choice, and it's Meghan Markle, front and center. Prince Harry is quietly shown the door. While he's left holding the empty popcorn bag, Meghan's stepping into the spotlight alone. Her solo series getting the green light for a third season. No Harry, no Archie, no Lee, just Meghan doing what Meghan does best. And honestly, if you've been watching closely, this moment was always coming. Long before royal titles and tabloids, Meghan was chasing Hollywood. She's back in that world, and this time she's not sharing the stage. Word is, the numbers did the talking. Harry's projects, barely a blip. That Polo documentary and the Invicta series came and went without much noise. But Meghan's with Love series, it cracked Netflix's US top 10 for a week. Not groundbreaking, but enough for co-CEO Ted Sarandos to double down. And this isn't just business, there's history here. Ted and Meghan are neighbors. In Montecito, they've shared box seats at Beyoncé concerts. That kind of closeness doesn't just happen. It's cultivated. Strategic to some, manipulative to others. Either way, Meghan played it sharp, and she won. But the real twist, while Netflix bets big on her, Harry's name wasn't even mentioned in the latest renewal talks. He's not totally out, just not included. This isn't their show anymore. It's hers, literally and figuratively. And if whispers from inside are true, Meghan's team is already shopping around a post-divorce memoir. Yep, not only has she stepped away from the partnership on screen, she might be writing her next chapter without him altogether. Still, this deal comes with strings. Meghan's handed over chunks of her brand to Netflix. Not for legacy, but for visibility. And sure, it feels strategic, but also a little desperate. Because if she was building an empire like Gwyneth or Martha, she wouldn't be slicing off pieces of her identity for short-term buzz. Now let's talk about the brand itself. As ever, the product line, underwhelming. One reviewer joked, the batch was so small, it never even made it to eBay. The packaging. Sloppy, the restocks. Delayed, the marketing. Few Instagram posts, and not much else. Meghan seems more invested in the appearance of success than the actual substance behind it. And still, Netflix is pushing ahead. Why? Because Ted's Olin. As one insider put it, Ted is in the Meghan business. Period. Not because of performance, not because of profit, but because he believes in Meghan, or at least the idea of her. But here's the kicker. This solo ride is not attracting the big stars. Meghan's team has tried to bring in everyone from Beyoncé to Taylor Swift, even Megan Thee Stallion, most recently, Dolly Parton. And that was a hard pass. In fact, rumor has it Dolly's reps are now asking interviewers to skip any mention of Meghan entirely. And just like that, we're watching the Meghan Markle show unfold. Unpredictable, polished on the surface, but messy behind the scenes. The cameras are rolling, the stakes are rising, and the ending, still unwritten. That wasn't just a polite no, that was a firm wall, a hard stop. And the reason? The industry's figured out the uncomfortable truth. Meghan Markle just doesn't bring enough to the table. Sure, she's got the royal name, but the shine's worn off, and what's left is a brand most celebrities would rather steer clear of. The narrative's no longer let's work with an inspiring duchess, it's let's avoid the mess at all costs. Big names know that linking up with Meghan isn't just risky, it's potentially damaging. So instead of power, players, Meghan's pulling in names like Chrissy Teigen, who, let's be honest, has had her own fair share of internet backlash. That's her headliner for season 2. Let that sink in. And that's not the only thing unraveling. It's her lifestyle. Brand, as ever, is still a disorganized mess. Products that underdeliver promotions that barely exist. The captions are recycled fluff, like stir, sip, repeat, as if slapping a whimsical phrase on a mug will make people forget there's no substance behind it. No real launches, no proper restocks, no press buzz. And customer complaints. Plenty. Crooked labels, cheap-feeling packaging, a general sense that this whole operation was rushed and half-baked. It's not exactly the foundation of a luxury empire. And then there's the odd crossover Netflix content bleeding into brand promotions. It's all wrapped in this curated image of cozy kitchens and candlelit calm. But the illusion keeps cracking. In one promo shot, Meghan's in a staged kitchen, meant to represent her brand. But there's not a single as-ever product in sight. People are starting to think the photos aren't even hers, maybe leftovers from her American Riviera orchard project. So now the branding is blurry, confusing, even to her most loyal followers. What is as ever, really? What lifestyle is she actually selling? Blueberries in a bowl? Meanwhile, Ted Sarandos keeps backing her like she's the next Oprah. Sources say he believes she's misunderstood, a cultural force unfairly dismissed. It's a noble thought. The results backed it up. But they don't. Meghan doesn't. Trend for inspiration. She trends for being ridiculed. Her influence is more meme than movement. And just to twist the knife, Flamingo Estate, that ultra-chic wellness brand, okay? Meghan once tried to invest in, just announced a partnership with King Charles's Highgrove and Burberry, okay? That's not just a branding win for the monarchy. It's a public rejection of Meghan's entire orbit. The founder, who once seemed friendly with her, has clearly picked a side, and who can blame him? Aligning with King Charles means aligning with legacy, purpose, consistency. Aligning with Meghan? That's asking for chaos. And it speaks to something deeper. A quiet but unmistakable signal from the business world. They're out. Cuss. The royal family, with all their formality and flaws, still represent tradition, grace, and long-term value. Meghan, by contrast, offers noise, inconsistent messaging, controversy, and a fixation on being seen that rarely leads to meaningful meaning. I like to meaningful substance. And the industry is finally starting to catch on. One moment that really crystallized the shift wasn't a show or a podcast. It was a photo of Meghan's daughter, Lilibet, in a beekeeping outfit that looked more like a Halloween costume. Oversized gloves, sagging sleeves, and a net that resembled a lampshade. It didn't read as sweet family bonding. It looked like a poorly staged PR stunt. Real beekeepers called out the safety issues. And the internet quickly speculated the whole thing was just a fake setup meant to sell. The image of a down-to-earth duchess who makes her own honey. And this is where Meghan's entire approach begins to show cracks. The polished moments don't land anymore. When she posts about slow mornings and simple joys, it's from a $14 million Montecito estate. It feels hollow, tone-deaf, like washing organic fruit in a golden faucet, especially when she's pitching overpriced products with underwhelming delivery. She's aiming for Gwyneth Paltrow elegance, but what's coming through is influencer cosplay. And the numbers back it up. Her Spotify deal, canceled the show, scrapped. The audience fading. And slowly but surely, so is the illusion. Her podcast vanished from the charts faster than you could say archetypes. And now she's pinning her Netflix hopes on Chrissy Teigen, a name still recovering from years of social media backlash. If that's your showstopper guest, you're not building a brand of luxury, you're desperately chasing relevance. But here's what really stings for Meghan. People still want to watch her. Not out of admiration or inspiration, but because they're waiting for the fall. The fascination isn't about rooting for her. It's a collective pause waiting to see what unravels next. Will the show tank? Will the product line disappear again? Will yet another Alistair quietly back away? The interest has shifted from hopeful curiosity to spectacle. It's less about the Duchess making her mark and more about the slow-motion collapse. She's becoming the kind of celebrity people watch with one eye open, not because they care, but because they can't look away. And still Meghan keeps going, clinging to the idea that visibility equals victory. But in today's industry, that formula's expired. The game has changed. Hollywood is tired of glossy pitches with no substance. And that's exactly why Netflix is quietly reshaping her deal. Less money, higher risk, and no Harry. There. Not pulling the plug completely, but the investments thinned out. They're still in the Meghan business, but only because Ted Sarandos won't admit he bet wrong. He's emotionally, maybe even personally attached. And that kind of loyalty in business, it clouds everything. Now contrast that with Spotify. Bill Simmons didn't mince words, called Meghan and Harry grifters, said out loud what others were only whispering, that they're a production nightmare, offering thin ideas and little follow-through. Spotify took the hit and walked. Clean, done. Netflix, meanwhile, is still hoping anything will stick. It's not strategy anymore, it's wishful thinking. And Meghan, she keeps bouncing from one potential power partner to the next, hoping someone's glow will rub off on her. Hollywood sees it now. Quiet exits, subtle shade, Ari Emanuel, Flamingo Estate, Dolly Parton, all backing away without noise. No statements, no scandals, just distance. And that silence speaks louder than any headline, because Meghan's brand was never built on product or performance. It's built on attention. And when that attention fades, there's nothing left to hold it up. No legacy, no loyalty. Just recycled captions and mood board aesthetics. Meghan wants to be the next mogul, the next Martha Stewart. But that road takes more than exposure. It takes patience, consistency, and connection. Right now, all she's offering is herself and the audience. They've stopped buying.